of doing the development. Once they launch that coin, definitely the most of the people, public of India, they are going to buy that coin, and the coin value might increase because our population is high. In that case, when people starting buying more, wherever you go, if buyers are more, asset is less, then the prices drops. When the buyers is less, asset is more. Sorry, buyers are more, asset is less means prices goes up. When the asset is more, buyers are less means price comes down. In this variant that India is going to release shortly. Okay, so let us understand the blockchain technology application and tools that is going to use. And with a small demonstration, I will give the link of a demonstration. If time permits, I will give now here itself a demonstration of blockchain. Otherwise, I will give the link. You just explore the blockchain, how exactly it works. Okay, uh, we'll go with the slides. So, is it visible? Is the presentation visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. See, look into the topmost left corner, blockchain. Uh, it's a set of devices are interconnected. So you may think of it is looking like a internet protocol or the internet itself. Even the blockchain technology's base is again internet and cloud and virtualization technology. So today the cloud is booming, and the most of the industries switched to the cloud because of the scalability, reliability, and the security is still an infant stage. They need to be implemented. So you can look into the diagram, the figure. Various devices, different kind of devices are interconnected, and they are formed as a block. So some of the properties you can look into the blockchain. Then we'll go with the definition, exact definition. Distributed ledger technology. How many of you know about the ledger accountancy? So accountancy ledger. How many of you heard about the account ledger? What is ledger?
It is a record.
It is a record entry, keeping a record entry of the financial transaction. So let us take one good example. Uh, Suppose there is a plot in real estate. Let us look into the real estate. There is a plot. So how the buyers and sellers exist with for that plot? Suppose Rupak has a plot in Kashmir. Dakshayani want to buy the plot from Rupak. Okay. So what happened exactly? Who is controlling authority here? Buyer, seller is Rupak, buyer is Drakshayani. Who is the controlling authority to authorize this transaction is valid? Suppose Rupak sells his plot to Drakshayani. Drakshayani she is going to buy. What is the proof of transaction? Rupak has to hand over the registered copy of the sale deed, that is agreement, to Dakshayani, through which If we do only sale deed through the legal legal authorization, is it enough? Are you understanding my question? Who is the authorized party here? The government office, registered office, who is doing this kind of legal registration and agreement between Rupak and Dakshayani related to plot sales. Here there is a control involved between two parties. This is existing traditional system. Similarly, if you go with bank, suppose you want to Dakshayani want to transfer the amount of the plot purchased from Dakshayani to Rupak. Again, who is involved at the back end? There is a middleman like banks are involved. There is an UPI system, third party service. Again, it is linked with the bank. Bank is controlling your transactions from Dakshayani to Rupak, Rupak to Dakshayani. Getting means in this traditional world, if you do any transaction or like financial or exchange, barter exchange, if you do, you are expected one of that person needs to be trusted, that is third party. You are in the presence of third party, you are going to carry out the transaction. That is a traditional system. Your money, Dakshayani, your money, Rupak, his plot, he is going to sell, she is going to buy. What is the need of having third party here? For authentication and authorization. It has done actually to confirm about that your transaction, they should be there with the traditional system. Whereas when technology is advanced and the blockchain technology especially advanced, Satoshi Nakamoto is a it is an name of a person or name of a woman or the man. It is not known because it was a white paper released in the year 2008, and it was Bitcoin. It came into existence during that time, right? So it was started in US based countries, right? So there, to avoid this middleman between two exchanges or two parties and to authorize such transactions, they are going to implement the technology called as blockchain. Okay, now we are going to in detail about little more about the blockchain. Try to understand, because if you even read the content, you will get in confusion. Someone says blockchain is database, someone says blockchain is algorithm, someone says blockchain is infrastructure, someone says blockchain is cloud. All is true only. All is true. Blockchain is a imbibed with the several technology. It is not an independent technology like internet. Internet is independent. Cloud is not again independent. It's a dependent on internet. Similarly, virtualization is not independent. It's a dependent on again a internet and the database services. Blockchain is dependent on internet and the database. So how the blockchain is different from the database, normal traditional database. So as you are learned from database, suppose if you are doing transaction like less balance, probably in Java you learned about less balance exception, that program, right? So that is going to be inserted into database. If somebody abruptly deletes a record, it is not recoverable. That transaction is not recoverable. So in that case, what happens? You are not going to get the exact status of the database of that particular transactional database. So blockchain, it won't allow you to abruptly delete the record where it is recorded. So it uses the concept of linked list, doubly linked list. You heard about the in data structures. You heard about the doubly linked list, singly linked list, and doubly linked list. So that with the help of that structure, it is going to create the links between one block of transaction to the another block set of block of transaction. So we are going to visualize that. You will understand what is exactly linked list works in case of blockchain technology. Okay. So blockchain, I'll be back to this slide. First, understand the blockchain represents a distributed ledger that records and verifies transactions and groups them in blocks. So, H blockchain, the name block is nothing but a box kind of a thing. Box kind of a thing. Chain is several boxes are linked together. To represents what? It is similar to the database. To represent what? It is represents as a distributed ledger. Distributed means that same set of records are available in a multiple systems and verifies each transaction. If any transaction happen with a block, that is going to be verified with across all the nodes which are connected with that blockchain and groups them in a block. The blockchain technology allows virtual strangers to exchange value and at the same time makes the transaction process transparent and safe. As in our example case, Rupak is selling his property to Dakshayani. So Dakshayani is going to buy. So in traditional system, there is a registration authority of the government and the banks are the middleman between these two exchange to tell about the transparent and safeness of payments and exchanges of the plot. So in that is the traditional. In the regular here, they are trying to avoid the third party authorization rather than they are trying to implement that is in the form of group. That is, they are introducing the technology. Initially, the blockchain was launched as alternative to payments, but current developments in the industry show that there are unlimited ways in which the blockchain technology can be applied in different industries. So earlierly, when the blockchain era was started, so they thought of replacing the physical currency and introducing the digital currency. So what is the because in this world globe, several hundreds of countries are exist. Each of the country follow the some currency system. In India, INR. In Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan INR. In Pakistan, Pakistan in INR. So Europe, Euro. Japan, Yen. US dollar. Like that, different countries have the different set of the currencies. So what the researchers thought that why can't we replace different set of currency with a single type of currency? From that we can avoid the exchange commissions. We can avoid the wastage of the money of a person who is earning that money. Then they started working on blockchain and they introduced some of the currencies like digital currencies like cryptocurrencies. There are three main blockchain types can be distinguished, that is distributed, centralized and decentralized. Based on the number of hubs it is connected with the blockchain. So in general, the distributed like public blockchain is a mechanism of trust between peers making a transaction. For example, the Rupak is exchanging with Dakshayani. So that is enough. Nobody is required to be a presence of their transaction. So that is public kind of transaction. It represents a public register and it is owned by the peace in the community. So whatever the transaction made by Rupak, it is also available with Dakshayani. And Dakshayani, whatever she is transferring the money to Rupak, it is available with him as well as in the network of such buying and selling agencies. So there is there is actually not requirement of the third party approval and transparency here. The process is based on complex mathematic algorithm. So it is because blockchain is not it is still in abstract. It is not completely explored what explored even in current industries. It is research. Lot of research is going on how we can use the blockchain technology for different purposes. In our discussion, we are going to use the blockchain in agriculture field. This is the alternate definition. Blockchain can be developed in a way to provide different layers of security and to connect either identical devices or devices with different components and therefore to facilitate different uses. So as I said, blockchain is evolving now with respect to even security also. Okay, so some of the characteristics of the properties of blockchain is it is programmable. A blockchain is programmable. So that is termed to be as a smart contracts. See, in the case of selling Rupak's plot to Dakshayani, there is a smart contract is involved between those two parties. Agreement. The smart contract is nothing but it's an agreement kind of thing. It is in digitalized format. So blockchains are programmable. Blockchain is secure because all records are individually encrypted. In database, usually you are encrypting entire database. So whereas in the blockchain, individual encrypted records are present. So it is anonymous, means Rupak and Rakshani made the transaction. It will not come to know to the outside world. Only the people are involved in the transaction will understand about the transaction and the worth of the transaction. So the identity of participants in is either anonymous or pseudonymous. Unanimous. All network participants agree to the validity of each of the record. The people who are involved in buying and selling business of that real estate also in with consent of that network that sale agreement has happened, buying and selling happened with the those two parties. It is time stamped. Whichever the transaction happened with blockchain, it is recorded with a time and seconds in a block. And the once the transaction is completed and it is recorded in the blockchain for any reason, that record is cannot be changed or irreversible. Once it is recorded means permanently it is recorded. If you are trying to do small changes in that record, that blockchain is going to be corrupted. Means that whatever means you are losing forever. So distributed all network participants have a copy of the ledger for complete transparency. Even Rupak also have the transaction details, sell buying and selling, and Dakshini also the transaction details and the network of the people who is involved in buying and selling of real estate goods also involved. They have the copy of the sales made by the Rupak. So this is distributed, programmable, secure, anonymous, unanimous, time-stamped, immutable, and distributed. These are some of the basic properties of distributed ledger technology, that is blockchain. So some of the history look into that. As I said, Satoshi Nakamoto, it's a white paper whether that person in the name of Satoshi Nakamoto exists or not. He they don't know, but it was a white paper published and released. Satoshi Nakamoto introduces a Bitcoin and blockchain in a white paper during the year 2008. The second stage in the year 2009, first Bitcoin transaction between Satoshi and developer Genesis block created mining difficulty equaling 1. So don't worry about much about here the Genesis block and the mining. So I will tell Genesis block is the very initial block. In that block, there is no transaction. It is like an abstract block, abstract class. It is like a abstract class. Is there any use of abstract class? Java you are learning, right? If you declare the class as abstract, whether any use of the abstract class is there? Okay. So
Data structure.
2010 Bitcoins, there don't confuse with Bitcoin and blockchain. Bitcoins works based on blockchain and crypto technology. But getting Bitcoins are used to make a purchase for the first time. Two pictures were bought for 10,000 Bitcoin. Today, the value of Bitcoin is around approximately in between 36 lakhs to 40 lakh one Bitcoin. So two pizzas were bought using 10,000 Bitcoin during the 2010. Now 2021, so it was reached around 51 lakh nearest in the market. The current today's value is around 35 lakh to between 36 lakh. One Bitcoin. They see the worth of the pizza now. 10,000 bitcoins into how many? 35 lakhs. How much of money it becomes? Then gradually to parallel to Bitcoin, the competitive coin, it is called as Litecoin launched. And in 2013, there are Buterin introduced Ethereum and smart contracts in a white paper. This is an evolution history of the blockchain from 2008 to 2021. So in the 2014, Ethereum was formally announced by Vitalik. Gavin published the Ethereum yellow paper. It means commercial paper. White paper means accessible to anybody. Yellow paper means so you have to pay and read that paper. Such kind of the things. Linux Foundation established the Hyperledger project. Ethereum first live release Frontier. Now Ethereum cost also almost similar to a Bitcoin cost. Nowadays is 4 lakh, more than 4 lakh it is there in the market. Blockchain tech company R3 is founded. So the evolution of the blockchain technology also it is spread across the several kind of industries to implement that blockchain. Then after that, IBM came into existence for the Ethereum first production release. Homestead release of Bitcoin Classic IOTA is released stable version of Hyperledger Fabric by IBM. 2017 Metropolis soft fork took effect during 2017. Hyperledger sawtooth by Intel. See Intel into the blockchain technology, and currently so many even government also implemented the blockchain technology in their business in their businesses. Okay, how does the blockchain works? How exactly it works technically? So there is a block. Blockchain is a decentralized ledger that records and stores data, document, transactions, and digital assets. So replace blockchain with database and read it. Distributed database. Blockchain is distributed database. Because why it is called database? Because it stores the data, it holds the document is again storing only, it stores the transaction and digital assets. Which are the digital assets? Audio, video, multimedia player. Multimedia content is digital assets. Either document or video, audio, or the contracts or legal documents. Those are the notes, debentures, digital records, etc. All those are comes under the digital assets, even including our money, digital money. So nowadays we are not receiving the physical money from banks. So we are money is there with the bank, but we are transaction using the digital transactions. So data on blockchain is recorded in real time and stored on a transparent and immutable record. Immutable stands for you cannot change. Once the record has happened with the blockchain, you cannot change or destroy or destruct. So step one is a person initiates a transaction of data, money or asset. Either transfer of data or transfer of the money from one person to another person like Dakshayani to Rupak, or asset like Rupak to Dakshayani. Right? Then second step is the requested transaction enters a group of connected network of computers called nodes. So Rupak posts his ad to the group of network in the real estate nodes. In that real estate, we'll come to know yes, Rupak is now ready to sell his asset. Then in that network of nodes, validate the transaction using mathematical algorithm. Whether the in that network of people they are checking whether that asset is belongs to the Rupak or is on other behalf he is going to sell the asset. So they are validating the request made by the Rupak to the nodes, network nodes about the transaction, what he is going to intended for. So that is going to check with the algorithm. Then the verified transaction is stored as a block of data. Then yes, if it is proved to be it is a asset belongs to the Rupak, then it is going to be recorded onto the block. Then the new block is added to the existing chain of blocks on the ledger for that particular request. Then the transaction is complete. Then that transaction is complete. The data is permanently stored on the blockchain ledger, which is shared among the members of blockchain. Okay, so then finally validated data is going to be distributed among several buyers. Because Rupak is seller here, the validated data is going to several buyers. One of the buyer is Dakshayani she is going to buy because it is authenticated the plot belongs to the Rupak. Types of blockchain: public blockchain, private blockchain, and consortium blockchain. That is also termed as a hybrid blockchain. So public blockchain, anyone can participate in the network such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you are interested to invest in Bitcoin, you can, because anyway, it's a public blockchains. So whereas private blockchain, like for example, IBM blockchain is a private blockchain. One institute exclusively owns one network. That is internal users. They are created the blockchains. Or for example, Maruti, if they have created the blockchain, internal employees of Maruti is going to be accessed. Consortium blockchain is pre-selected group of participants establish a consortium and control the consensus process, but only those authorized participants can take part in the network. So it is called part public, part private. Like it is an hybrid. Some pre-selected group of people agree to establish a connection with them and do the transactions. It is part public and part private. These are the types of blockchain. So let us understand little more about the consensus protocol. Consensus means mutual agreement. Consent means mutual agreement. So until unless if you are not agree with the seller or the seller won't agree with the buyer, the transaction is not going to happen in the blockchain technology. But whereas in traditional system, If one seller is not there, another seller will come and sell the property of Rupak on behalf of him and making money and creating the fake documents, etc. and so on. In the real world, one site might sold for many people by taking many advances. It happened. So that's why to avoid such kind of the mistakes or the wrong deeds. So technology is in place now today. So proof of work, the terminology, the proof of work, a consensus distribution algorithm requires an active role in mining data blocks. So mining data blocks is nothing but creating a workable algorithm to work on that. For example, let us take a consensus distribution algorithm that requires an active role in mining data blocks, often consuming resources. The more work you do, or the more computational power you provide, the more coins you are rewarded with. So, proof of work, for example, if I say Panindra, if I say dig a 1 feet, so I will pay 10 rupee. So he may dig 1 feet hole on the earth. He may get the 10 rupee from my side. Suppose if I say you dig for 5 feet, I'll give 10 rupees. Whether he agree, won't agree because for 1 feet 10 rupees, that is reasonable cost. If I say 5 feet 10 rupee, he won't agree because lot of work is there. For his work and effort, he has to get paid. So you work more. So to dig a 1 feet of the pit, it required only small tool required to dig 1 feet. If 5 feet, he requires little more resources and his effort and time also he required. If I ask him to dig 100 feet pit, it is not possible to do by one person. Several persons are required. After several person, if you are going with the tool like JCB kind of machine, you need to be either you need to be rented or you need to be buy any one which costs less for you for the work. If you rented 100 feet, again it requires a truck is required to transport that dig mud, right? See, depending on the type of the algorithm you are going to be executed in that blockchain technology, similarly, parallelly, you are required the lot of resources, time, manual effort, power consumption, etc. is involved. If you use more power, more number of persons, more number of computational capacities, if you do, you will get a more payment. That is, more payment is in the form of coins or the digital virtual currencies. That is proof of work. The proof of stake is a consensus distribution algorithm that rewards earnings based on the number of coins you own or hold. The more you invest in coin, the more you gain by mining with this protocol. So if you invest more money, you will get a more returns in from the banks. If you invest less money, you will get less returns. So proof of stake is that. So delegated proof of stake is rather than investing by yourself, you are on behalf of you, your investment is going to deposit to the bank. On behalf of you, the banks are going to utilize that in the investments, and you will get interest from the bank. Bank is going to gain the money from the market. So proof of elapsed time, depending on the time and work time, you are going to how much of work you have done in 1 hour. In 1 hour, for that 1 hour, you will get paid for 1 hour. So proof of authority is a node number of network nodes which are connected each other in that processing the algorithm. Who is going to solve the problem in early? That person is going to get rewarded in the blockchain technology. Okay, these are the some of the applications you can probably you heard about the cryptocurrency, the mining, wallet, then initial kind offerings like in the markets, network technology, cloud transaction, banking, agriculture, in the manufacturing sector. Probably you heard about many blockchain applications nowadays. These are the some of the blockchain platforms like Ethereum, Hyperledger, Sawtooth, OpenChain, Hyperledger Fabric, Quorum, Stellar. These are all the some of the platform which is exist with the use of the blockchain technology. And this is the ecosystem for decentralized applications, that is Solidity, Jet, Mist, Remix, MetaMask, Truffle, Ganache, Blockchain Testnet, Blockchain Chain as a Service. These are the some of the technologies or the tools are used to create the blockchain. So we'll see the demonstration now about how exactly blockchain is going to work. This is one open source website which is available called as andersbromworth.com blockchain. Uh, Related to the blockchain, the source code is also available. So here, see how many blocks are there in the current example. There are 5 blocks. It is an just a simulation. It is an imitation, not really exist. So the very first block it is termed to be as a genesis block. Very first block in the blockchain is termed to be as a genesis block. So blockchain has the following characteristics: block number, nonce means number appears only once in a blockchain. Nonce is nothing but it is like a unique identifier of the block. Data, the data you are going to store with the block or transaction details. The previous hash is usually for the genesis block. It is initial with the 0 hash. Then the current hash is the for the genesis block is a random hash generated by the algorithm. So similarly, second block, nonce is present, data is going to represent previous hash. You observe the previous hash for this block is the genesis block hash value. You can observe 40157, 40157. So it means that it is a creating a link between first block to the second block to the third block. Previous hash of the third block is the second block hash value. You can check 4012F, 4012F. Now, suppose let us start recording the transaction. Rupak sent, Rupak sold his plot to blockchain. So this transaction should completed when it says that is going to be permanently recorded in the blockchain. So for that, so this statement, this data is now sharing with the other set of nodes present in the network, and you are applying the mining. This mining is going to authorize your transaction, means the based on the concession algorithm of the different set of the members involved in the transaction. With their consent, this is going to be recorded. This transaction is going to be added to the block chain of block 1. Are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Mining since yes. Observe here, this block is recorded with a new hash. Previously 00157 was there. Now data is added. When data is added, it is going to generate the hash. It includes the block number and nonce number and data. And the previous is it is since it is a Genesis block, the previous hash is not available. Current hash is coming along with the data. So, for example, now Dakshayani sells or exchanges. Exchange. See here, Dakshayani acts as a middleman. She wants to sell that to the sell plot to the exchange plot to Panindra. Observe here, if I enter small space also, hash is going to be changed at the bottom of the screen. You can observe. If I delete hash, entire hash is going to be changed. See, observe here. One character is going to change the complete hash value. Now mine it. Mining is nothing but executing the algorithm with the consent algorithm is used here is 51%. Suppose in a 100 people, 51 persons going to vote for you means you are the winner. Similarly, in the consensus protocol works based on 51 to 49. 49 if disagree also, 51 is yes, it is valid means that is going to be recorded. 51-49 ratio it works. Okay, let it mine it. By that time, we'll move on to the next slide. So some of the blockchain application implementations are land revenue record by Andhra Pradesh state. They are in government, they also started using this land revenue record. Stock exchanges, they are using blockchain technology. Medicine industry, pharma industries uses the blockchain technology to record the transactions. Chitty, some chit funds agencies, electric grid, supply chain, the construction, building, agriculture are using the blockchain technology implementations. So we'll discuss blockchain. See, the mine is this blockchain block 2 is mine. Now after that, so Panindra sells it to, right? For example, Anusha. Mine it. Let it happen. So I will show how if you do some changes with in between intermediary blockchain, what happens. I will show the demonstration. Okay. So blockchain in agriculture, improving agricultural techniques. Use cases of blockchain in agriculture is crop and food production, food supply chain management, controlling weather crisis, managing agricultural finance, agricultural insurance, land registrations, fishing industry. Fishing is that fishing only. Monitoring, verifying, and reporting on green or climate bonds. In these, in agriculture, these are the several use cases the blockchain has been implementing, or somehow it is implemented. Okay, this is also. So similarly, there are other things are there. Anusha sells to SKT. So series of transaction is being recorded in each blocks, and each block is able to create an hash by applying the mining algorithm. That is consensus protocol is used to accept this transaction. Okay, crop and food production. So IoT devices generating data. So IoT devices are there to generating data. Those data is going to be collected, cleaned and collected, and that making that more data more insightful with machine learning algorithms, and data gets saved on the blockchain. So for current year, current environment, it is checking weather forecasting happen, which soil is used for the yielding the crop, which are the insects were there, which medicines was applied. All such information is going to be processed depending on the objective of the study. So in that, the blockchain is also going to be used. So that's over. Then SKT exchange exchange donates plot back to Rupak. Let's say just an example. Don't expect me to donate, okay? So data is hashed and saved on blockchain. It is looking like this. So blockchain data consumption, usually it consumes land uses in that improved soil quality, crop efficacy, financial audit, food mitigation. Maybe these kind of data is present in that block related to the crop and food of the agriculture. Some of the blockchain startups disrupting agricultural industries are AgriChain, AgriDigital, AgriLedger, Demeter, Ethereum, Ripe, Tea, Food, World. Suppose you want to apply for the job in, especially if you are interested with agriculture. Some of your friend talk about the agriculture in research methodology course. They can look into these of the company. They can target these companies to work with the blockchain. They can get the job from these companies also, because these are the companies, some leading companies, startup companies. You can work with them. Okay. uh, okay, so now all the blocks in this case, all the blocks are changed. For example, now if I do small changes in the initial block, what happened? The effect of blockchain, just observe what happened. What it is going to indicate that color is changed means what? The hash value of the, see, observe here, previous hash value is this. If you do in between in any of the one block, if you do small change, small correction, entire blockchain is going to be corrupted from where it is changed. For example, let's say if somebody third hacker is going to penetrate and he is modifying Panindra cells to it to Anusha, if he is modifying Panindra cells to Varsha, for example, the earlier hash was not changed because hackers are not able to modify the block 1 and block 2. Hackers is tried and able to do small changes in the third block. From third block to till last block of the blockchain is going to be affected. In this way, in the consensus protocol, it is not going to agree the changes happen between in the blockchain from the hacker or the attacker. In this way, again, resilience algorithm is going to be recover from the distracted nodes from other network systems, is going to be resilience back. So previously it was sold to Anusha, right? So other set of nodes, because most of the nodes having the same similar kind of the pattern, the hacker, if he changes one blockchain present in a one node, it won't affect in the another node because consensus algorithm works 51% is agree, then only that is going to be updated in the blockchain block. So otherwise, hack it is a highly difficult for the hackers or the attackers to touch a blockchain because it is in a distributed fashion. So somehow the blockchain is secure compared to the traditional technology because of this reason. Some of the future of agriculture applications are farmers data, seed quality data, soil moisture, climate and environmental data, harvest and yield data, demand and sale of price data of that fields, etc. and so on. You can use the blockchain technology in the agriculture. So several industries are up and using the blockchain. The major drawback of blockchain or the crypto distributed ledger technology is more power consumption. More power consumption means it is indirectly affect to the environment. So that's why they are looking into this issue. Wherever it is possible to reduce the power consumption, they are trying to work with that. So research is going on in the blockchain technology till now. Some of the references I made while using the blockchain content several OneCoin website. I searched through some of the PowerShow slides of that one slide net. I went through and some of the Google images I used to demonstration this one, the blockchain technology. These are the additional contents. This is added for your reference for later usage. Thank you very much for patience listening in the current semester. I wish you all the best for all the examinations, internal or external examinations. So if any questions, let me know. We will discuss on blockchain technology. Any questions? Any questions? So it's about your cyber security course, module 5. If any questions are there, we will discuss on Thursday also. I'll come with case study and innovative question for the internal test 3. The dates, I think already you know about the dates of internal test 2021 22 of third internals. If any questions, you please come to me.